Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a hit and miss Wet n Wild edition. We have a face primer, an eyeshadow primer, foundation, concealer, eyeshadows, the works. I mean, I've got liners, I have mascaras, blushes, even a liquid lipstick, and everyone's friend, setting spray. Alright, so in this video I'm also going to be sharing with you alternatives to certain items. So if you don't like the quality of one of these items, you can literally find something, if not exactly the same, something very similar. And, you know, the price is like slightly different, so don't worry about that so much. That's really kind of one of those things where once you see the alternative, you might actually be okay with like spending that little extra cash if you really needed to. But yeah, so let's get into it. So when I did try to film this video before, it didn't work out right, and actually I have filmed these a couple of times, and I've really been trying to like go, okay, how do I do this? But I'm gonna be wearing all the makeup along with you. We're gonna make this face be Wet n Wild, as well as giving you my opinions of each product. So without further ado, let's start with that face primer. I mean, here it is right here. Hopefully it will, if I can do that, and it'll face, yeah, okay. I'm still learning how to use my camera. I know it's really sad, but yeah. So what I do is I shake it up a little bit because it's kind of like a lotion. And if you don't know much about Wet n Wild, they are a cruelty-free brand, which is why you saw this little thingamajiggy right here. That does signal that something is a cruelty-free brand. I tend to put on, about that much, because I got a big face, honey. So I'm going to push my hat back here. So you do just kind of rub it in your hands a little bit, spread it around, and just sort of get it in there. Okay. Oh, now see this, it feels a lot like a moisturizer, so that's kind of nice. Now I already had moisturizer on because I wiped off a previous look a few minutes before. So that is the face primer. Go put that somewhere else there. And then next we have an eyeshadow primer. These are all from the PhotoFocus line that Wet n Wild does, by the way. If I didn't mention that before. This is somewhat pigmented. I mean, yeah, the other primer wasn't pigmented. It was just white, but this one, hopefully it'll... Woo! Way too much just shot out. Y'all dirty people don't be saying nothing about that. I know you're thinking it. Alright, so I accidentally put on that much, so I'm going to take one of my fingers here and just sort of spread around the love and get them on these eyelids. Definitely want to rub that in, and it's going to feel a little tacky, but just go ahead and go for it. I would say so far the face primer is definitely a hit, and right now just the feeling of that eyeshadow primer, that's a good thing too, so I definitely would count it as a hit. Except it makes you a little sticky. The next thing that I would want to try out is I finally got my hands on the Wet n Wild PhotoFocus foundation. I'm in the shade Ivory, or Rose Ivory. I mean, I'd fit in Ivory too, but yeah, no. So right now, this actually locks on. So like when you do this, you're tightening it up. I don't know if you heard that, but that's a lock. And of course it unlocks when you turn it around. Now on the inside is a spatula sort of deal. It looks like that. And, you know, for me, since I don't really expect anybody else to be using it but me, I just kind of go in. So I'm going to zoom you in just a little bit. There we go. And I'm just going to dot this all along my cheek. And I'm going to go ahead and put on a little bit more right there. It may look like I'm putting on a lot, but I'm actually not. So I'm going to zoom you out just a little bit so you can guys see the full face. So I'm going to take my L'Oreal Infallible blending sponge and just sort of go in there. And sometimes you can pinch this and it'll make it where you can get into the grooves of your nose really easily. I mean, from the times that I've been using this, I love it a lot. It's actually very full coverage for me. So I really like that I can do that. And make sure that you do get it along your neck. And in that ear, like in your ear. You do want to do that. And then of course I go back in and go all along the cheek. And then of course just get it in. Now I'm not going to put on much because right now I'm not really having to deal with that. So make sure to get the ear, remember. And then like really get under your neck. Now as you'll notice, I didn't actually do my chin or above my lips because there's enough actual foundation in the sponge that I don't have to do that. But I will be doing my forehead because we already hid that freckle on the nose, so you don't need much of this actually. It may be looking like I'm going a bit excessive, but you know, people cover what they want to cover, so. Alright. Okay, now I do not have any brow product to use today. Well, I mean, I have brow product, but it's not Wet n Wild, so we won't be doing that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the CoverAll Wet n Wild Concealer. This is in the shade Fair, I believe, and it's in the shade 811 if you needed to know that. It's a little thick, like it's thick and sticky in consistency, but it's actually really good. So I'll zoom you in here like that. Okay. So address those under eyes just a little bit. Okay. So the foundation I definitely loved. I like the concealer as well. Because it really does get those dark circles and things like that out of the way. And sometimes I'll move it back to the foundation side and just really buff it in. Okay, so that is the face. We're going to do some eyeshadow in just a little bit. Okay, so for eyeshadows, I actually got two different eyeshadow palettes. They're both the Wet n Wild ColorIcon. So both of them are of that particular brand. And like this one right here, the purplish one, it's in the number 736 and it's called Petal Pusher. So basically when I first tried these out, and I want to let you know they're all shimmery, like I know you can't tell that right now, but every single one of them has a shimmery pigment. So, and this is including this little guy right here, the neon colors. And this one is 737A Poster Child. Personally, this is probably my favorite one just because I love neon colors. Now I also like blending a little bit of both going on. But you know, for the purposes of different things, I like to be a little more on the creative side of certain things. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to back up some of what's in front of me first, apparently. Oh, goodness. It's just a special time, isn't it? Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go in with, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and go in with this shade right here. I know it's a little dark, so you won't be able to see it quite there, but I want to do that as my lid. But first, I'm going to do what's called my transition shade, and that's the shade that you're going to put all over your lid. That's like the first thing you're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and bring you in a little bit forward. So yeah, you'll get to see what's going on. So before I go into this shade, I'm going to go ahead and cover my eyelid in this shade right here. It's a very, very light, almost white lavender. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I will back you up a little bit just because I do not want you to lose focus. So I'm going to go ahead and go in that shade and go ahead and just tap it in and really make that a really good transition shade. So, and I know it's dark. I'm really, really sorry, guys. So, you can still sort of see what's going on. I apologize so much for that out of focus situation. It is driving me crazy too. So, let's see. As long as I don't move. There we go. So, hopefully you guys can still see what's going to be the transition shade. So I will go ahead and just do this from back here. Now I am pushing a little bit more than I typically do. So, I mean, the shades so far are really, really pretty. When I first went into these, they did not work. Like, I had to drench my brushes in water and just, like, keep scraping at them, praying that they would work. And then when I tried to use them again, they worked, and they were so pigmented and so pretty that I was like, oh my word, it's like a baked eyeshadow or something. Like, you have to like scrape that first layer off, then all of this beauty comes out of it. So I'm definitely liking the colors and things like that. I really, really do. But, you know, sometimes you don't always get so lucky with that. So this is probably going to seem a little strange, but for my actual eyelid starting color, I'm going to go ahead and go into this. It's like a pinky coral sort of shade, and that's going to go all over my lid. So, I mean, these are really, really beautiful and very pigmented, and I kind of love it. So, I mean, if you guys have been watching my channel, then you know for a while how I get eyeshadow onto the brushes, and just how I do my pressuring and things like that. You guys have kind of figured it out a little bit, and that's awesome. You know, I love doing what I do here. I love teaching you guys different things that you may not have already known. I mean, it's just, it's a lot of fun for me to do that. So, I mean, it's great that I'm allowed to do this, that I can really make a difference in somebody's life just by doing what I love to do, you know? It's like, it's just, that's the way it is. You know, and I've been received pretty well despite what I originally thought would happen, and it means a lot to me that you guys do that, and I really, really appreciate that. I know this wasn't like a chit-chat, get ready sort of thing, but I don't really get to speak my mind all that much when it comes to stuff like that. Alright, so the next shade that I actually want to apply is actually, and I know that when I told you when we were going to start it that I was going to do this shade right here in the Petal Pusher palette, but honestly, I kind of want to go in and put this shade into my crease. It's like a really dark purple. I like the shade of it. I like how it would look really as a difference from the pinkish coral that we were doing. So again, you know, if you've been watching, you know how I do this. I will dab the color onto both sides of the brush, and then I will pat it in onto my eye. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Remember to hold the bottom. And just go in with what I call the wax on, wax off movement. Again, if you don't know that reference, y'all need to go look that up. Karate Kid forever. Alright, so just really get that in there. I know you guys probably still can't see what I'm doing, but I will end up doing this as a makeup tutorial later if you want. Just because I like it. So, and remember to always have a clean blending brush, because after we do all of this, it's still going to need to be blended out, because it's going to be like shade, edge, and we don't want that. We don't want that. So, grab one final clean eyeshadow brush and really decide which one you're going to go in with. Just because I'm feeling a little crazy today, I'm going to go ahead with this neon yellow. And yes, it is pigmented. It's pigmented, guys. Alright, so let's go ahead and pat that together and go for it. I will show you what this looks like in just a moment. I'll pull you close in just a second. I'm like hurrying because I want to be able to do this without interruptions. So, alright, so now that we've done that, take a clean blending brush. I have one from ColourPop, and just really go like this really fast, and it blends it all out, and you don't have to worry about things not looking right. So, as for the eyeshadow palettes, I definitely would call them hits. I mean, definitely I would call them hits. So, especially the neon. I love it so much. The next thing that we're going to go into is that eyeliner. So, just keep watching. Okay, so I'm going to go into the way that I usually would do it. So, you see that I did my face makeup first, then my eye makeup, and then I went in and did some liner. Now, the liner that I used was my e.l.f. liner. It's in, I believe, Blackest Black. And for those of you who didn't know, it has like a felt tip on it. So you can hold the entire body of it and go in. So actually the liner is more precise, or at least I find it more precise, and that's how I get the wing here that I did. But the Wet n Wild one is a definite miss, because one, I'm not really, I mean, I'm not snobbing over the packaging or anything. That's what it looks like, and it is the H2O proof, and I got it in brown black. So you see this very fancified handle here. and then the very tiny bottle. And when you shake it, I want you to see if you can hear this. And now it doesn't want to do it, even though it's really flipping loud. There we go. You hear that? It's kind of annoying. So, just to show you how it like goes on, this thicker swatch right here, that's from this, because the end, like the applicator that you're using, this is not precise, people. At least not for me. It's such a small little wand that it almost gets in the way of everything else, and it smudges, and I just don't prefer it. So it is definitely a miss. And the alternative that I would say hands-on is the e.l.f. liner. I mean, this line right here, doesn't it look better and more precise? Much, much better. I much prefer it. Now, e.l.f. spoils me anyway, but I love them. So this, the alternative, would be the hit. But the H2O liner from Wet n Wild is a miss completely. The next step that I would take is putting on some mascara. The one that I got from Wet n Wild, obviously it's in the orange tube, and it's the MegaLast, right? MegaImpact Mascara, my bad. And I mean, it's fine. It looks like a nice tube, but it's horrible product. Horrible. I mean, it clumps everywhere. It's just bad. So here's what you're dealing with as far as the actual application is concerned. Do you really see much room for your lashes and all that gunk? 'Cause I don't. And let me be the first to say to you, it does the exact same thing to your lashes. Your lashes get clumpy and chunky, and they're just not pretty, guys. They're nasty. So definite miss on this one. Ugh. Definite miss on that one. What I would recommend as an alternative, and it can be really any Maybelline liner, it can be any brand that you actually really like, but go for a mascara that is actually going to work. Because this little sucker was like either $2 to $3, then you know why, because it sucks. This, it's a Maybelline mascara, but guys, first off, let's just see how sleek that comes out. And the package is really pretty anyway, but I mean, you see that? It's a nice, you can actually see room between the bristles, and it's got this fancy little stick here. Like, it's nice, and it's long, and you can really get in there and make your lashes look almost like you're wearing falsies. Without actually having falsies. So, definite miss. The next thing that I typically do is I put on some blush and highlighter. Now, these are both marketed as blush sticks. I mean, the blush makeup sticks that you're just putting on like crazy. And they're both marketed as MegaGlo, meaning they would be not only a blush, but they are also a highlighter. That was a little far-fetched for them. So this darker shade right here, hopefully that is in English. Of course, I show you the other side. So there's the English side for you, and this is in the shade Floral Majority. And then we have this much nicer, lighter one that's definitely highlighter-esque. You know, it's got like that, and I believe it is called, yes, it's called Peach Bums. Now, since they're both marketed as MegaGlo, you expect them both to glow, right? Well, here are the swatches here. This one right here is this darker shade. And this one right here, I mean, you can see that on my hand. It's the lighter of the two. So, I mean, just to show you, you see how it's shining in the light like that? Like, epic loveliness. That is what I love about this one. This one is a hit by far. And when you're running low on product, you just twist this little sucker and more comes out. And it's that way for both. So this is definitely a hit with me. And they were not expensive whatsoever. The dark one, however, I mean, the dark one, if you're gonna call it a MegaGlo, it better glow. So, but it's pretty much matte. So, on this side of my face, I'm wearing the darker one. And on this side of my face, I'm wearing the lighter one. Again, the lighter one really is a hit for me. But I think they were going more for a matte blush on this, so I'm not gonna say that it's a miss. I'm just not impressed. But I will work my way around it and use it. The last product outside of the setting spray is the lip color. I have the MegaLast Liquid Catsuit Matte Liquid Lipstick. And first off, before I open up the packaging, does anybody know what that's supposed to remind us of? If you don't, I can tell you. But I'm not sure if Wet n Wild won on the packaging there, or if Jeffree Star got to it first, because it's the exact same thing. So this little scoop right there almost looks like a chair on your applicator. It's there, and it does bring out some product, but the product is very patchy. And what I'm also going to show you is an alternative to this one. Okay, you can get the exact same shade. Now it's called Chandelier, but this is a satin lip, I believe, right? Yeah, it's a satin lip. And this is from ColourPop. So, yes, this one I believe was running to be $2.99 online, I'm not sure. It was called Pink Really Hard. It's a really nice shade, however, this one, yes, it's $6, but it's a better packaging, and honestly, it's a better quality. For the swatches, if you can see, this one right here is the Wet n Wild. Well, this one right here is the ColourPop. Notice that they are the same shade. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit, because what I did was on my lips, I went for this half is the Wet n Wild, and this half is ColourPop. Do you notice a difference? I don't. So definitely, I mean, if you want the color but you don't really want to go like full on into it, like into that, then yes, this is a great alternative if you're, you know, not necessarily wanting to go for the full thing. Like, I would say, like, if you wanted to try this color out but ColourPop was like a little too expensive, I completely understand. I am curious, however, to see what the other ones like this are, what they look like. So I definitely will check them out. It's not a miss. It's just not a hit. It's like somewhere in the middle. But for the sake of the video, we will call it a hit. Now, the last and certainly not least thing that you need when you're doing makeup is you need a good setting spray. So this is the Wet n Wild PhotoFocus setting spray. Not only does it smell good, but it feels good on the skin. It locks everything into place. And quite frankly, I went 10 hours with the same makeup look, and it stuck the entire time. It's because of this. If you want a good setting spray, Wet n Wild has your back. I mean, I'm a believer, guys. I am. So it's definitely a hit with me. Honestly, Wet n Wild has some pretty bomb-tastic products. So I really hope that you enjoyed the video today, and I hope that I was able to help you out and kind of show you the ins and outs of what I at least got to try. If there is a video in which you would like me to try another brand and do a review of it, just like I did today, then please hit the subscribe button down below, tap that little bell, and send me a comment letting me know what you would like to see me use. Now, I do have to ask, keep them drugstore, okay? Do have to ask, but please, 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 if you loved what you saw, let me know in the comments below, and I will gladly read them and reply. Thank you so much. I hope you had fun, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.